As I would deep dive into GroupJoin. So here I have the following collection. So collection of people with Alice, Bob, Charlie. And of these people, some of them own a pet, but some don't. For example, Charlie doesn't own any pets, but Bob here owns one and Alice owns two. So here's Alice, and you can see Alice has a few pets. So using the GroupJoin, we can use people. That's our outer collection or join of data that we want. And then we've got inner. So what do we mean by inner collection and outer collection? And how does C# actually work with this? So let's have a look at this. So here you've got people as the outer collection and pets at the inner. And then you can see the relevant keys. So this will be the outer key and this would be the inner key. And by that, what we mean is the inner collection would be converted into a dictionary by C#. So it will convert all the pets. So here ID1 owner will have Fluffy and Rex. So you can see the pets are now being converted into a list. Gordy is ID number 2 of the owner. So that's the owner ID, and owner ID2 only has one pet while owner ID1 has 2. So that's why it stores them as a list. And then when you loop through the outer, so let's say Alice was the first person, but we're looping through. So you can see here, Alice is the first person. She has 2 pets. So what it will do is they will do a lookup of that person ID, Alice, against this. Then what it will return out of that dictionary is Fluffy and Rex because they are at ID number 1. And then simply what it will pass through is that item that we have, person pets. So it will just have the owner ID and the pets as a list. This is how generally it will work. So you look up at the dictionary. So notice here, this is using a lot of generics. So you would get your result, right? Notice here, the outer, inner, this is the outer key, this is the inner key. So that's what we saw here. So when we are working through this, so this is our outer collection, this is our inner collection, this is our outer key, this is our inner key. So those are converted into generics and you can see them here, outer key, inner key. And what will happen is those inner items are converted into a dictionary and the key is used. So this is the inner key, that's the foreign key we had. So that's the owner ID. And then it will add them to the dictionary over here if the item doesn't already exist with that key. So if, for example, owner ID1 already exists, then we can simply add the relevant item. If not, we will create a new list. And then when it comes to finding who owns which pet, this loop is run and the outer key selection, we are looping through the outer key. So those are the different people that we have. So these are the Alice, Bob, and Charlie. So we loop through them. And notice here, we are checking against the inner group if the lookup contains the key of the outer item. So here is the key of the outer item. If it does, then we bring that data back. Otherwise, we just return an empty inner. And then using the year keyword, we just return the results back. And this is what's happening behind the scenes. And this is the syntax. That's why we use the syntax. So you can see this is the outer loop, this is the inner loop, and then we've got the outer key, we've got the inner key, and then we get our new data set over here. And then from that data set, we can simply select name and also the pets that belong to that person. So generally, I've tried to make this simpler to understand using words that may help you understand. I think sometimes it is just good to understanding of what is actually happening behind the scenes with a GroupJoin. So you are then better able to remember the syntax over here. So I think the key takeaway is this is the outer collection, this is the inner collection, this is the outer key, this is the inner key. So the data you have, these are the people and what pets do they own. Some of them can own multiple pets. So the relationship is one to many.